Napoleon and Josephine, a love story of power and heartbreak. The meeting. In the year 1795, France was a nation in turmoil, recovering from the upheaval of the Revolution. The streets of Paris buzzed with a mix of hope and despair, as the ideals of liberty and equality clashed with the harsh realities of life. Amidst this chaos, a young general named Napoleon Bonaparte, known for his strategic brilliance and ambition, attended a lavish ball hosted by Paul Barras, a prominent figure in the new government. The grand hall was adorned with exquisite chandeliers, and the air was thick with the scent of fine perfumes and the sounds of laughter. It was here that Napoleon first laid eyes on Marie-Joseph Rose Tachard de la Pagerie, known as Josephine. She was a widow, elegant and poised, yet marked by the scars of her past. Josephine had lost her first husband during the Revolution, and her heart was heavy with memories of love and loss. As they danced, Napoleon was captivated by her beauty and charm. He noticed the way her laughter lit up the room and how her eyes sparkled with intelligence and mischief. Josephine, in turn, found herself drawn to the ambitious general, intrigued by his fiery spirit and determination. Their chemistry was palpable, igniting a spark that would change their lives forever. In the midst of the swirling gowns and the lively music, they shared whispered conversations, revealing their dreams and fears. Josephine spoke of her children and her desire for stability, while Napoleon shared his aspirations for glory and conquest. The connection between them deepened, setting the stage for a passionate romance. The proposal. Just days after their initial meeting, Napoleon, overwhelmed by his feelings, proposed to Josephine. The proposal took place in a romantic setting, perhaps under the moonlight, in a secluded garden filled with blooming roses. The air was fragrant, and the stars twinkled above them, casting a magical glow over the moment. Josephine hesitated, torn between her affection for Napoleon and her fears of repeating past mistakes. She remembered the pain of losing her first husband and the uncertainty of her future. Yet, the allure of Napoleon's passion and the promise of a life filled with adventure ultimately swayed her. His determination and ambition resonated with her own desires for a better life. With a heart full of hope, Josephine accepted his proposal, and they married in March 1796. The ceremony was intimate, attended by close friends and family, yet it marked the beginning of a tumultuous union that would be defined by both love and ambition. The separation. 2 days after their wedding, Napoleon departed for Italy to lead the French army in a campaign that would solidify his reputation as a military genius. The separation was marked by passionate letters filled with longing and jealousy. Napoleon poured his heart into his correspondence, expressing his love for Josephine while also revealing his insecurities. "Dearest Josephine," he wrote, "the distance between us is unbearable. Each day without you feels like an eternity. I fear that my victories mean nothing if I cannot share them with you." His words were a mixture of adoration and possessiveness, reflecting the intensity of his feelings. Meanwhile, Josephine found herself grappling with loneliness. She missed Napoleon's presence, his laughter, and the warmth of his embrace. In her solitude, she often wandered through the gardens of her home, seeking solace among the flowers. She wrote back, "My beloved, your letters are my lifeline. I count the days until we are reunited. But I worry. Will you still love me when you return?" Their letters became a lifeline, a way to bridge the gap between them. Yet, as Napoleon achieved victory after victory in Italy, the pressures of his rising fame began to take a toll on their relationship. Josephine's heart swelled with pride for her husband, but she also felt a growing sense of insecurity. The affair, while Napoleon was away, Josephine found herself entangled in an affair with Lieutenant Hippolyte Charles, a charming and handsome officer. Their union was a desperate attempt to fill the void left by Napoleon's absence. Josephine, feeling lonely and neglected, sought comfort in the arms of another. At first, the affair was exhilarating. Hippolyte's attention made her feel desired and alive. They shared stolen moments of passion, filled with laughter and whispered secrets. However, as days turned into weeks, guilt began to gnaw at Josephine's conscience. She was torn between her love for Napoleon and her need for companionship. As the affair progressed, Josephine found herself increasingly conflicted. She knew that her actions could destroy her marriage, Yet she felt trapped in a life that was not entirely fulfilling. The societal pressures of being a wife weighed heavily on her, and she longed for the freedom to express her desires without judgment. When Napoleon discovered the truth, it shattered the trust between them. He felt betrayed and humiliated, and his letters turned cold and accusatory. "You have dishonored me, Josephine," he wrote, his anger palpable. "How could you betray our love while I fought for our future?" The pain in his words cut deep, and Josephine was left to grapple with the consequences of her actions. The reunion. When Napoleon returned victorious from Italy, he was eager to reunite with Josephine. The joy of their reunion was overshadowed by the shadows of betrayal. They embraced passionately, but the tension between them was palpable. Napoleon's love letters had turned colder, reflecting his disillusionment and jealousy. In their first moments together, they attempted to rekindle the romance, but the air was thick with unspoken words. Josephine, acutely aware of the rift that had formed between them, struggled to find the right words. "Napoleon, she began, but he cut her off. "Do not speak of love, Josephine. You have wounded me deeply," he replied, his voice laced with hurt. The intimacy they once shared now felt distant, and both were haunted by the memories of their past. As they spent time together, Napoleon's jealousy began to surface. He questioned Josephine about her time alone, and she felt the weight of his scrutiny. "I have always been faithful to you in my heart," she insisted, tears brimming in her eyes. "But you were gone, and I was lost." Their struggles to reconnect were marked by passionate arguments and moments of tenderness. They both yearned for the love they once had, but the shadows of betrayal loomed large, creating a barrier that was difficult to overcome. The rise to power. In 1799, Napoleon staged a coup and became the leader of France. His rise to power was meteoric, and Josephine, initially hesitant, embraced her role as the wife of the powerful general. She became a crucial ally, using her social connections to bolster his political ambitions. As Napoleon consolidated his power, he relied on Josephine's charm and intelligence to navigate the treacherous waters of French politics. She hosted lavish soirees where influential figures gathered, and her ability to connect with people helped solidify Napoleon's position. However, the pressures of power began to strain their relationship. Napoleon was consumed by his ambitions, often neglecting Josephine's emotional needs. She felt like a pawn in his game, and the love that had once burned brightly between them began to flicker. Despite the challenges, Josephine remained a steadfast supporter of Napoleon. She understood the sacrifices he made for the nation and admired his determination. Yet, she also longed for the intimacy they once shared, feeling increasingly isolated in their grand palace. The coronation on December 2, 1804, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of France in a lavish ceremony at Notre Dame. The event was a spectacle of grandeur, with nobles and dignitaries in attendance. Josephine, dressed in exquisite robes adorned with jewels, stood by his side, her heart swelling with pride. As Napoleon placed the crown on his own head, he turned to Josephine, in a moment of public adoration, placed the crown on her head, solidifying her status as empress. The crowd erupted in applause, and Josephine felt a mix of joy and anxiety. This was a moment of triumph, yet it also marked a turning point in their relationship. In the days following the coronation, Josephine reveled in her role as empress, but she also felt the weight of expectation. The court was filled with intrigue, and she found herself navigating the complexities of royal life. She longed for Napoleon's affection, but often felt overshadowed by his ambition. As they attended grand balls and state functions, Josephine tried to maintain a facade of happiness, but behind closed doors she felt increasingly lonely. Napoleon's focus on his empire left little room for their personal connection, and she struggled to find her place in his world. The pressure for heirs. As the years passed, the couple faced immense pressure to produce an heir. The weight of societal expectations bore down on them, and Josephine, unable to bear children, became a source of frustration for Napoleon. He yearned for a legitimate heir to secure his legacy, and the strain of this desire began to erode the foundation of their marriage. Josephine felt the sting of inadequacy, grappling with her inability to fulfill what she believed was her primary duty as a wife. The whispers of the court echoed in her ears, and she often found herself retreating to her gardens at Malmaison, seeking solace among the flowers. "Why can't I give him what he desires?" she lamented, tears streaming down her cheeks. Napoleon, too, felt the pressure of his ambitions. He was torn between his love for Josephine and his desire for a dynasty. As he contemplated the future of his empire, he began to consider divorce as a means to secure his legacy. The thought of leaving Josephine was painful, yet the weight of his responsibilities loomed large. The decision to divorce. In 1809, after years of emotional turmoil, Napoleon made the heart-wrenching decision to divorce Josephine. He framed it as a sacrifice for the nation, believing that marrying a woman who could bear him children was essential for the stability of his empire. The news shattered Josephine, who had devoted herself to supporting him through thick and thin. Their final conversations were filled with tears and unspoken words. Josephine, heartbroken yet understanding, agreed to the divorce, hoping to secure his future. "I will always love you, Napoleon," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You deserve happiness, even if it means we must part." Napoleon, too, felt the weight of the decision. "You have been my greatest ally, my dearest love," he replied, his eyes filled with sorrow. "But I cannot ignore the needs of my empire." Their parting was bittersweet, a testament to the complexities of their love. The aftermath. Even after their divorce, Napoleon continued to visit Josephine, showing her affection and care. He married Archduchess Marie-Louise of Austria, but his heart remained tethered to Josephine. He would often reminisce about their time together, recalling the laughter and love they had shared. Josephine, too, struggled to move on. She found solace in her gardens at Malmaison, where she cultivated beauty amidst her sorrow. She hosted gatherings for friends, but the laughter felt hollow without Napoleon by her side. In her solitude, she reflected on their love, cherishing the memories while grappling with the reality of their separation. Despite the distance, Josephine continued to write to Napoleon, expressing her unwavering support. "You are still the man I love," she wrote in one letter. "I wish you all the happiness in the world, even if it is not with me." Her words were a testament to her enduring affection, even as she faced the pain of their separation. The final years. Josephine retreated to her estate at Malmaison, where she cultivated a beautiful garden filled with exotic plants and flowers. She poured her heart into her gardening, finding solace in the beauty of nature. The estate became a sanctuary for her, a place where she could escape the pressures of society. As she aged, Josephine reflected on her life with Napoleon, cherishing the memories of their passionate love. She often invited friends to her home, hosting gatherings filled with laughter and music. Yet, beneath the surface, she felt the weight of her lost love and the emptiness that lingered in her heart. In her solitude, Josephine penned her thoughts in a journal, capturing her reflections on love and loss. "I have loved deeply, and though my heart is heavy, I would not trade my memories for anything," she wrote. Her words were a testament to her resilience and her ability to find beauty in the midst of heartache. The death of Josephine. In May 1814, Josephine fell ill and was diagnosed with pneumonia. Her health deteriorated rapidly, and she was surrounded by friends and family during her final days. As she lay in her bed, memories of her life with Napoleon flooded her mind, bringing both joy and sorrow. Napoleon, who was in exile on the island of Elba, received the news of her illness with a heavy heart. He mourned the loss of the woman who had once been his greatest love. In his solitude, he reflected on their shared moments, realizing that Josephine had been the anchor in his tumultuous life. As Josephine took her last breaths, she whispered a prayer for Napoleon, hoping that he would find peace and happiness. "My beloved, may you always remember our love," she murmured, her voice barely audible. Her death left a profound impact on Napoleon, who was devastated by the loss. The legacy of love. Napoleon, now a broken man, often reminisced about Josephine. He surrounded himself with her portraits and spoke of her fondly, indicating that their love, though flawed, had left an indelible mark on his heart. He realized that their relationship was a blend of passion and ambition, forever intertwined in the annals of history. In his letters to friends, Napoleon expressed his deep sorrow over Josephine's passing. "She was the love of my life," he wrote. "No matter where I go or what I achieve, she will always be with me in spirit." His words reflected the enduring nature of their love, transcending the challenges they had faced. The final words. As Napoleon lay on his deathbed in 1821, his health deteriorating, he was haunted by memories of Josephine. His last words were reportedly her name, a poignant reminder of the love that had shaped his life. "Josephine," he whispered, his voice trembling with emotion. In those final moments, Napoleon reflected on the choices he had made and the sacrifices he had endured. He realized that, despite his accomplishments, it was Josephine who had truly understood him. Their love, though marked by heartache, had been a source of strength and inspiration. A love remembered. The story of Napoleon and Josephine remains a testament to the complexities of love intertwined with ambition. Their passionate affair, marked by infidelity and heartache, serves as a reminder that even the greatest of loves can be overshadowed by the demands of power and legacy. Their love story continues to captivate hearts and minds, inspiring countless interpretations in literature and art. Historians and writers have explored their relationship, revealing the depths of their emotions and the impact of their choices on history. In the end, the legacy of Napoleon and Josephine is one of love, loss, and the enduring power of the human heart. Their story serves as a reminder that love, in all its complexities, is a force that transcends time and space, leaving an indelible mark on the world.